I have this weird ritual where once or twice a year during a lull in video game releases, I decide to try a game that just did not click with me my first go around with it. These games that I give a second chance somehow, for some weird reason, wind up becoming my favorite games of all time. I did this with Enter the Gungeon, Binding of Isaac, Hollow Knight, and so many others. This year goes to Days Gone. I wound up playing it pretty close to its initial release back in 2019 and fell off of it after a few hours. I am so beyond happy that I decided to pick up the PS5 remaster though, because let me tell you, Bend Studios deserves so much more credit than they received with this release. This game is truly something special. The story of Days Gone puts you in the biker boots of Deacon St. John, perfectly portrayed by voice actor Sam Witwer. One night, all hell breaks loose in the form of a viral outbreak akin to most other zombie films or games. As you try to make it out of the city with your wife Sarah and best friend Boozer, Sarah winds up getting stabbed by a little girl who is turning into the game's version of zombies, freaks. Deacon believes the only right course of action is to put Sarah on a Nero chopper, this game's version of a government entity that specializes in R&D similar to Umbrella Corps. While he and Boozer try to make it out of the city and find her at the camp she is being taken to. Fast forward 2 years and Deacon and Sarah were never reunited. Now, Deacon and Boozer, once members of a biker gang called the Mongrels, are drifters and do odd jobs for random camps out in the wilderness of Oregon. After 2 years, all hope should be lost, but Deacon has held on to the possibility that his wife may be alive somewhere. One day, a Nero chopper is spotted and he follows it and comes into contact with the same man he handed his wife off to 2 years ago. Hope has been restored, and now the hunt is on to track down any proof of his wife, whether she is alive or dead, one way or another. I won't say any more about the story, as it is truly one of the best parts of the game. As you progress through your journey though, you will come into contact with a handful of camps that all operate wildly different from one another. You will learn about and talk to a handful of inhabitants and come to really care for them and want to know everything you can about them as you go on various jobs and help fortify and protect these camps. I will say this as well, not as a criticism, but more as something I wound up loving about Deacon. He literally never shuts up. No matter what you are doing, he is either talking to himself, usually screaming and out of breath, or talking over a radio to one of the many other amazingly voiced characters. The gameplay of Days Gone was probably the reason I fell off the game back in 2019. It is by no means bad, and truly does evolve into something unique and extraordinary, but the first dozen hours or so, it really feels like any other open world game on the market. The most unique aspect of the game, and one of my favorite parts however, is your motorcycle. It is an extension of Deacon, and you rely on it more than you even rely on people. You can walk and run around the world, but the map is quite large, and you would soon be remiss to be ignoring your bike. As you ride from mission to mission, job to job, you will be doing a checklist of activities in between. Everything from powering on Nero checkpoints, to clearing out marauder camps, to burning down infestation zones where the freakers group up and sleep. As you complete each of these areas on the map, they will be unlocked as fast travel points alongside the main camps of the game. The fast travel in this game is a godsend though. One of the more tedious parts of the game is fast traveling costs the same amount of fuel as if you just drove there yourself. You will constantly be fueling up your bike. I am talking in a full playthrough probably upwards of 500 times plus. In addition to refueling your bike, you will be scavenging for supplies at every opportunity. That includes breaking into the trunks and hoods of every vehicle you see for precious crafting materials and scrap. You use scrap to fix up your bike and your melee weapons, and in a fair bit of crafting recipes, so you always need to be on the lookout for a hood that can be opened. Exploration aside, the other main aspect of the game is of course the combat. A really good mix of stealth, gunplay, and melee combat. You start with nothing but a boot knife and a pistol, but eventually unlock a formidable arsenal of destruction. In the beginning, you will be hard-pressed to take on a camp of human enemies, or a few freaks. By the end, you will be a one-man army. As you complete missions and kill enemies, you will gain experience that you can use to level up one of 3 skill trees: melee, gunplay, and survival. Every single upgrade feels powerful and helpful and leads you to become the video game protagonist version of Rambo. As you help the camps also, you will level them up and earn camp credits. This is how you unlock new guns permanently to take on the road with you, and you will be upgrading your bike at regular intervals. You will gain increased speed, durability, and fuel capacity, the latter of which is the most crucial upgrade so you can fast travel further distances and not run out of gas as fast. All of these upgrades help with the moment-to-moment gameplay, of course, but the reason you need the better guns, the faster bike, and the better skills is for this game's most unique aspect: the hordes. The hordes in Days Gone are a technological marvel. They are massive groups of freaks that can be as small as a group of 50 or so, or as large as a group of over 300. Let me tell you, no matter the size of the horde, your heart will be pounding as the music quickens and gets louder and more frantic as every freak looks at you and lets out a bellow and starts chasing you like a bat out of hell. You absolutely have to use every tool in your arsenal to take these daunting oceans of freaks down. You will be running for your life while laying down proximity mines, throwing Molotovs and grenades, shooting every bullet you have, all while keeping close attention to what is in front of you, because if you slip up for 1 second, the horde will rip you limb from limb with no remorse. There are a lot of hordes to fight in this game, and you can accidentally run or drive into them in the dark of night, and nothing is more terrifying than that, I promise you. Some hordes are story missions, and those are the absolute best. If you have a vague interest in this game at all, or just love zombie media, the hordes are the main reason to give this game a try. They are just amazing to see in action, and you feel like a badass once the last freak is down and you have no bullets left and have used all your bandages, but you come out on the other side victorious. My favorite thing to do in video games is go for a platinum trophy. I did wind up earning this one after 43 hours of playtime. The trophy list for this game is very well made. You will earn 75% of the trophies just by beating the story and going for 100% completion of all zones. You actually do not need to find every collectible, just 75% of them, which is really nice, and you do not need to max out every single camp, just 3 of them. There are a few tedious trophies I want to talk about though. One of the trophies is for looting 541 human corpses. This was my least favorite trophy by a mile. In order to loot a corpse, you have to have room in your inventory for what item the corpse may have on it. In my experience, 90% of the time it was either a rag or a sterilizer. The problem with this is, you can only hold 5 of each of those items, and they are only used in crafting bandages and Molotovs, so my inventory was always full. What I wound up having to do was throw a Molotov at my feet and heal, and then craft new ones to clear up my room in my inventory to pick up the items. I had to do this 541 times. Another trophy was for fixing my bike with 100 pieces of scrap, which was a challenge because my bike was never taking damage. So I had to intentionally ram into cars and walls to fix my bike, and having to find a lot of scrap. The last trophy I want to talk about is called Go Kick Rocks. For this trophy, you have to knock over 12 anarchist cairns. Sounds simple enough, but these are the only items that do not appear on the map and are very hard to see and find. Luckily, I found a cave that had 6 of them in it, so I did not have to use a guide for any trophy in this game. Days Gone does not truly do anything unique aside from the hordes. You can mistakenly call this a generic open world game and dismiss it as such. You would be doing yourself a massive disservice though. The story of Deacon St. John is one that needs to be experienced. I love this character and his adventure so much. I love the beautiful map of Oregon, and I really love driving around on my motorcycle. There are great twists and turns you do not see coming, and the game plays so flawlessly. I was getting lost in this world for hours every night, and I am so incredibly sad that this game did not sell well enough so that we may never see a sequel. This should have become a series that was hailed as the best, right alongside Resident Evil and The Last of Us. Ben Studios, if any of you see or hear this review, let me tell you that you did a spectacular job here. For me, this is a 10 out of 10 and a game I will remember my whole life, I do believe.